What up? We're back. We're doing another weekly recap. We're going to go over all of the trades that I took last week, as well as the ideal trade of each session. And my goal for you guys is to see how doing the ideal trades of each session bleeds into my trading and the trades that I take. And this past week, I did a pretty good job of that. I took at least 2 of the ideal trades. So we're just going to go through. We're going to start at Monday and go through the week. You can see on TradeZella, what this is showing is 4 of my funded accounts that are all being copy traded. 3 of them are being copy traded. 1 of them I'm trading kind of separately. So you can see I had a pretty decent week, 2K week. You can also see this big red day that I had on Thursday. That's just because in the one account that I'm not copy trading, I fucked up and didn't even realize I was in a trade, and then it took me out for my daily loss limit. Didn't even know. But that was just an execution error on my end. But yeah, let's jump right into Monday. So I'm going to start with the ideal trades always first so that we can see what the setup is that I do, and then we'll go into the trade that I took. So this is the ideal trade. I mark out this pivot here. I can see that it broke lower 1, 2, 3 times. Enter on the close above the VWAP, targeting at least a 1.5 R every time, with the stop loss below this swing right here. And you can see it did also close above the VWAP. That's what this blue line is. This is anchored to the New York Open. It did test this level and come back up right here. So you could have entered here as well. But again, because I had lower pivots in mind, I wanted to see if it, tested those. But it didn't, but it did do that. 1, 2, 3. Boom, enter there, 1.5 R. That was the ideal trade. Let's see what I did. Okay, I traded MES today. I think actually I have 2 trades on this day, but this was the trade that I took on MES. I marked out this pivot right here, as well as this pivot here. Saw that it broke below in this area, a little consolidation, closed above VWAP 1 and 2 right here. I waited to enter just because, again, it had this lower pivot here, and also it just was kind of like wish-washy around VWAP. But then you get another bullish candle, another bullish one, and I was like, all right, let's run it. This is the candle I entered on. It came back, tested that pivot again. I entered on the close. Stop loss below all this, targeting the all-time high, the previous all-time high, which is this big green line. And I made a 2R on that trade. It was actually, this is a super sexy trade. Love it. And then I also, that first trade was in my 3 copied accounts. And then this trade was in my single top 1 futures account that I took. So let's see here. I marked out the 630 pivot, and it broke lower, and it also held this purple. This purple line is the overnight VWAP, and so I see 1 hold, 2 holds, 3 holds, and then it shot up, closed above the pivot, and also closed above VWAP. And so I enter right on that candle close, targeting 1.5 R. Stop loss below here. Bada boom. Easy. It's too easy. All right. This was the ideal trade. I think this is my losing day. I did not take this trade. So market opens at 6:30 around here. I mark out this pivot right here, looking for shorts, so looking for it to break above, which it did. And then it closed below, enter here, stop loss above this structure, targeting 1.5 R. You can see that played out nicely. This actually ran lower like all day, so you could have just held this thing. But again, you don't need to catch the whole move. It's okay. And also this green line is anchored to the all-time high. So this is all-time high VWAP. So yeah, close below the New York overnight and the all-time high. Boom, boom. That would have been the ideal trade of the session. What did I do? I actually took a decent trade. This isn't an awful trade. It's just not ideal. So I played off this pivot here, and I think the thing is, it's like, right, like this is a pivot, this is a pivot, this is a pivot. You have to mark out the important ones. And what does that mean, right? Like the important ones. So high of day and low of day, right? So like this is the low of day right here. So had I played off this pivot, right, it would have came back, tested it here, but it never would have closed above VWAP, right? So if I was playing off this low of day pivot, I never would have even taken a long. So I played off this one. I saw 5 candles kind of breaking below and holding it. So that's kind of was my cue. And then the close above overnight VWAP, the purple line, and the blue New York VWAP. So I entered long, targeting 1.5R, a little above this previous structure. Stop loss was a little tight. Honestly, ideally the stop loss would have been the low of day, but I think it's because on NQ it's like sometimes I'm not able to get the stop loss as big as I want because of my daily loss limit. But yeah, so I ended up getting stopped out pretty quickly from this one, and that was it on that day. I just like took the loss, and it was like, okay, this is a losing day. Wasn't a terrible trade, but you know, like even in my setup or in any trading setup, you're gonna have losing days. You're gonna have days where it's just a probability based loss, and that is a part of your system, right? So I think the thing for me, it's like I think previous version of myself would have wanted to come back in, wanted to make that money that I lost back, and then maybe that would have happened, but also maybe I would have even lost more, and then I would have ended up just blowing the account, right? It's like it's not worth it. Just come back the next day. So all right, moving on to Wednesday, 6/17. So marked out. This is the ideal trade. Mark out this 630 pivot, breaks above it here, and then waiting for a close below the New York VWAP. Boom, stop loss above the high of day, targeting 1.5R, bada boom. And that would have worked out really nice. This was literally a 1.5R, like, to the tick. And again, right, like, if the stop loss was above here, I might have gotten stopped out here. But again, like if you're that close, like if I'm at like 1.4R, bro, like just take it. Like it's fine. But also like if this was extended, right, it would have ended up hitting it here, but you might have gotten stopped out if like depending on where your stop was, right? Because I think this is a little higher than this, but anyways. But also like another really good entry would have been right here. Would have been right here. You saw this pivot get tested again. Saw the break below and hold below New York VWAP, entered here, targeting just this previous low. That would have been a nice trade too. That was the ideal trade. What did I do? I think I took this trade. Let's go. Yeah, I took this trade. 1.6R. I got a little better entry. I didn't enter right on this candle close. I entered like kind of closer to the VWAP. Boom. MNQ win. And I think I took a second trade. Yes, I did. I took a long. So right after I won that short that I just showed you, the ideal one, I took a long in my top 1 account. So I played off this pivot here, breaks below, right? Closes above the VWAP here. Boom, boom. Stop loss here. Low 1.3R. That was cute. All right. Thursday, ideal. Okay, what do we got here? Okay, mark out this pivot. So this is like a key pivot for 2 reasons. One, the candle before it and the candle after it are both higher than this, right? So that just is a pivot. But also you have it's a key level, this overnight VWAP, right? It bounced off of it. So that is a key pivot, marked that out. Saw that it broke lower and also was kind of holding above this overnight VWAP. And yeah, it shot up, closed above the New York, looked for a long, 1.5R, stop loss below this, low of day, targeting 1.5R, bada boom. This was the ideal trade of the session. And I think, yeah, and it's the trade I took. I was locked in this week, dude. I was really locked in this week, and I think, honestly, a big reason was because the week prior, I was, like, marking out the ideal trades, and it's just helpful. So you can do this for your own system, right? You don't necessarily have to trade the exact way I trade, But yeah, I'm just, for those of you maybe looking for a new strategy or looking for, maybe the thing that you're working isn't really working right now, or you're just kind of having I've just noticed this really works for me. I really like this. It's very clean. It makes a lot of sense to me. So you gotta have to just find that out for yourself. Yeah, this is literally the trade I took, the ideal trade. So what is that? 2 out of 3? 3 out of 3? That's 2 out of the 4 days. Oh, Friday. I want to talk about Friday. Friday I did not trade, and I want to talk about that. That's how we're gonna end this video. So Friday, the futures markets were open on this Friday, and I low-key considered trading. It was Juneteenth, so it was modified hours, and you're gonna find this a lot on just different kind of holidays where the futures market is open, but the volume is just like not the same, and it's not like the same conditions as a normal market day because it closes earlier. I think certain things are closed, certain things are not. The government wasn't really up and running, so it's like there were a lot of reasons to not trade, and I chose to not trade. Also, it's like, I had a pretty decent week and I had the impulse to not trade. So had I come to the charts and traded and lost, I would have just been pissed, dude. I would have been like, I knew I shouldn't have traded. Why did I would have, it's a mental thing. So I think I knew I didn't want to trade. So had I showed up and traded and lost, I would have been pissed. I would have ended the week on a red day. Even though I had, a great week of trading, would have ended on a red day, and it just wasn't worth it. It's not worth it. I was so happy ending Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday green, go into the weekend, really just relax, reset, and know that I can come back fresh Monday, off of a good week, and I don't need to force anything on the 19th. For what? It's not worth it. Let's see. Friday, this was look at the price action on Friday. What? This is the most price action was even pre-market. Where's 6:30? Boom, right there. Look at this. For what? And I know so many people that traded too this day. It's I don't know, man. It's just not. There's no volume. It's not worth it. So if you have that impulse to just take a day off or take a rest day, and just not be on the charts and do something that's gonna help push you forward in your own personal life, do that instead. Don't you don't need to force this stuff. It's a slow grind, and it's all about just keeping your accounts alive. And also just do something else. Go fucking touch grass. Go work out. Go do something creative. And for me, I've been able to have rehearsals and stuff, and I'm in a Shakespeare festival right now, so I've been able to when I'm not on the charts, I'm doing that, and it's really fulfilling. So I think finding things outside of trading that are going to bleed into the charts. I'm pulling out my journal right now because I want to talk about because it's this idea right here. Consistency in life will show up on the charts. I read this every day. This is my journal. I have very, entry criteria. I have flow of trades. And it's why force it? Why come and trade on a Friday that the market is not going to be the normal conditions how you're used to trading? It's just not worth it. Don't do it. And go do something else in your life that's going to bring you joy. That will bleed into the charts. It will bleed into your trading, limit risk today so I can trade tomorrow. Just don't trade. If you're not feeling it, if you're feeling too tired, had a long night before and you don't want to wake up for the market open, and you're even having that thought, just don't. If you're having the thought to not trade, don't trade, because what it does is, if you have the thought to not trade and you do show up and you trade and you lose, you're going to be pissed. You're going to be like, I knew it. Why did I do this? I should have just slept more, and then that bleeds into the next day, right? As opposed to just you know what? I'm going to take the day off. It's okay. The market's open, and you know, maybe it's a regular market day, like, and you just don't want to trade. Like, just don't. Just fucking don't trade. You don't need to. You don't have to be trading every single day, every single minute, right? A lot of the trades that I just went through, bro, they're like 30 minutes. Like 7 a.m. entry, 7:40 exit, 40 minutes, done. Done. Period. Limit risk today so I can trade tomorrow. Why put on an unnecessary risk? For what? That's it. That's all I got, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And if you watch this far, feel free to subscribe. More trading content to come. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.